Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a follow-up on the recently released FSLTL video that I did. I got a very good comment from a viewer who goes by Barry Taylor, and he wanted to know if you went to a smaller regional airport where there's less traffic and you turned everything to 100% values, would it be a true one-to-one match for Flight Radar 24? And I thought that was an excellent question and probably should have actually looked at that in my initial video, but I like to keep them a little bit brief as I can. But that's what we're going to explore today. We are at the Spirit of St. Louis Airport, just to the west of St. Louis, Missouri. And I have Flight Radar 24 up on my second screen here. And again, this is our airport here, Spirit of St. Louis. And as you can see, we've got one Cessna 172 in the pattern, 64657, as well as a, where'd you go? There was an Aeromeds helicopter doing pattern work before. There he is, 662 Alpha Echo. Now, I don't have the highest of hopes for the helicopter, but I would like to see if I can at least get, I would be happy with just a generic 172, kind of like what we have sitting on the ramp in front of us here. I would be okay with either of those two showing up on the map. So I did exactly what he suggested, and I've completely maxed out our aircraft times here. I guess to be a little more generous, I can increase the stuck removal time. I lowered the injection radius to 75 kilometers just to kind of condense down the amount of airplanes being thrown at us. Anything in the pattern or on an approach should get rendered in here. But we'll stand by. It looks like he's turning base now. If I go back to Flight Radar 24, that 172 is turning base in Flight Radar 24 time. So hopefully in a little bit we'll see a 172 or similar on approach. And if we don't, you know, we're talking about an airport with two airplanes. We're going to hop over to St. Louis International, which if I do that here, where did you go? This guy, right? Oh, it was a lot busier before. It's a lot busier before. Right now there's just one Southwest flight that landed. But before there were quite a few airplanes coming and going. So we might try to find a different airport that's a little bit busier. But we'll hang out for a little bit and see if we can't spot that 172 while we get started up and going here. Okay, so in Flight Radar 24, that airplane is now executing its touch and go. If I look at the map here, you can see his ground speed should slowly start increasing, as well as his altitude should start increasing slightly. I don't know how frequently this updates. Looks like he actually might have come to a stop. But in the sim, I'm not seeing any 17. I'm not seeing anything at the airport, actually, other than the static traffic that it's just injected. I'm also not seeing that helicopter, but again, I'm willing to let helicopters go. As far as I know, there's no like AI traffic models for helicopters. Obviously, there's the EC-145 and H-125, H-135 and H-145, as well as a H-125, formerly AS-350 variants. But yeah, not seeing anything at the airport here. If I go back to Flight Radar 24, you can see he's on another, well, he's actually moving way faster than he should be, but he's got a ground speed of 102, just dropped to 99 knots, and an altitude of 1,000 feet. So I didn't see or hear anything, so I think we might go ahead and start up and head over to to the St. Louis International Airport. I'm not going to really hold anything against it for one singular airplane, especially one 172. You know, it's using basically just ADS-B information. There's no followed flight plan. He's just doing pattern work. So, you know, I don't know that airplane's exact situation. We'll head over to St. Louis International and see what's going on over there. All right, and here we are at a much more laggy St. Louis International. I don't know what's going on with the weather. I've got Rex Weather Force running in the background. I wanted to get the most accurate weather that I could, but it's doing something funky here. Anyway, we're not here for weather, we're here for airplanes. So, on Flight Radar 24, I've got a Southwest 737 taking off. You can see his ground speed should slowly start running up here, as well as altitude. I also have a Primair 767, it looks like, on approach. And I'm not seeing any of that in the sim as of right now. Hey guys, sample in the editing room. This video's gone on for about 6 minutes now, and I just wanted to preface with this entire sequence here, this entire video that I'm doing, led to a bug. So the short answer, if you're looking for it, is no. And we'll get into why and the bug later on, but I just figured I'd save you guys some time. Hopefully you appreciate that, and saying no. Right now, at least the way that my sim's configured, I cannot turn the traffic up and get a 1-to-1 ratio. It actually automatically reverts everything back to 0, and from there, there's no traffic that gets loaded, and the console stops generating traffic. So I'll have bits of me doing those full run-throughs here and at our other airport, yet to be announced in the video, from start to finish. Should be, I don't know, 10-15 minutes total. I did it twice. And yeah, so that'll be that. But just saving you guys some time. And we'll continue with the video from here on out, if you're interested in seeing what I ran into and how I attempted to fix it and failed. Drawn. I can say that our P212 is now landing in Flight Radar 24. And I don't see anything on the approaches. It's again 1-2 right. It looks like their primary arrival and departure runway. And I'm not seeing anything. Let's go ahead and double check this. Yes, okay, so I'm seeing a bug here, and I don't understand why. It's resetting my aircraft to 0. And I don't understand why. Alright, third time's the charm, as they say. I am going to do all of this live. So you can see FSLTL is not running. Please start it, then close and reopen this panel. I have my current settings is maximum of 200 IFR, which is the max. Maximum of 100, which is max. Additional parked aircraft is 10, the max. Got a 75-kilometer injection radius, a 60-second removal time. I'm not using a flight plan database. I am not using blank libraries, and I am using generic models. I guess the one thing I could change would be to allow the blank models. No and no. Just gonna do this all as one cut. I'm not gonna edit around or anything, just so you know I'm not doing any funny business. We will close that, reopen the panel, verify that we're injecting what we want. I'm gonna come over here to my fourth screen here. There we go. And our injection is started. We'll watch the airplanes spawn in and lag my flight sim. There we go. Whole bunch of ground traffic spawning in now, which is what we want. Jetways hooking up to applicable aircraft. And now we can see some other traffic spawning in. Right here, SkyWest 5323 and Embraer ERJ 175 en route to St. Louis. He's at just under 10,000 feet, 28 kilometers remaining. Sounds perfect. So, if I come over to Flight Radar 24, and maybe this needs a refresh, actually. Let me refresh Flight Radar 24, just to be extra diligent in my refreshing. So, Flight Radar 24 screen. What am I looking at? I've got a American Airlines CRJ on approach. That's going to be American Air 1542. Do I see you in my list? I'm looking now on my flight sim screen. 1452. He's on approach, 12 left. En route to Lambert, St. Louis. En route to Lambert, St. Louis. What are you? Jezza 795. Nope. This is going to be really boring, and I apologize, but I kind of at my wit's end right now. There's a Southwest 737 right now taking off from Midway. Well, taking off for Midway from here. Nuttin. What flight number is that? 1936, Southwest 1936. It's taking off right now. Headed to Midway. There's the American flight, CRJ 550. These are ground airplanes, and I don't believe I see it. Interesting. So maybe it is kind of overwhelming of the injector to have this much traffic. I mean, I'm not at a busy airport. Well, relatively busy airport. It is an international airport, but it's busy enough to where we can get regular aircraft in and out. That we should see. I've got Southwest 2666 en route to St. Louis right now. See if I can find them on our list. En route to St. Louis. That's SkyWest. Southwest 734. And he's still at 10,000 feet. Yeah, I don't know, guys. And you see here, so it's now 1512. The injector was last put in an airplane right down here. And it's currently, I don't know if you can see. Oh, you can't even see the frickin', hold on. You can't even see what I'm doing. So, just after 3:12 p.m. was the last airplane it put in, and it's currently 3:15. So it's been 3 minutes and not a single aircraft has been injected or removed. I have a sneaking suspicion that if I close this window here, and then I reopen it, we're going to be spun back to 0. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's because I've got stuff maxed out. Maybe it's because my injection radius is too small. No, because it would have told me it was removing stuff. We'll try one more airport with the same settings. And then after that, I'm going to, I don't know, call this a bust. Maybe report the bug to the devs. But we'll have to see. On to a new airport. Detroit Wayne Metro Airport. Sticking in the Midwest. Slightly more busy airport according to Flight Radar 24's data as of today. We're going to do the exact same process. Again, I apologize it's lengthy. You're more than welcome to skip around if you would like. But I want to prove here that I'm not flubbing anything and that this is potentially a bug, either with additional mods that I have running in the background, as there are several of them, or a potential bug with the sim. Obviously, the light arrays here do not line up with the parking stalls and all of that. So this is a slightly custom scenery. As far as the terminal goes, it looks very nice actually, but the runways and the airplanes landing on them should be identical. I'll forgive any taxiing issues that we run into or anything like that, but the runways are the same. So without further ado, here we go. Let's open up this guy here just to prove that FSLTL is not running. It shouldn't be. What are you doing? There we go. Okay, FSLTL injector is not running. Please start and close this panel. So, we have started it. I'm going to be using the exact same settings, so I'm going to say no to changes, enter. We are then going to close and reopen this panel. And there are our settings matching our injector. Injection starting. Expand this window just a little bit. Can hear a whole bunch of jetways whirring into life there. Whole bunch of airplanes it's generating. Awesome. That's cool to see. I want some live traffic. That's a very nice A350 model. Moving over to Flight Radar 24. Just did a refresh on this page as well. We've got a few different airplanes going on. We've got a CRJ going from Detroit to Green Bay. Looks like he's still taxiing potentially. Ground speed of 21 knots. Not a whole bunch in the pattern right now. Looks like this guy just left Detroit. This guy should be on arrival. So we should be looking... This guy's landing right now, a A330. So we should be looking for Delta Airlines 414 on approach now to Detroit in the opposite direction that we're currently facing. Let me swing us around. And go back to Flight Sim. And it looks like this is the active landing and takeoff runway. Just to be extra shrill here, I'm going to stop Rex Weather Force. And I'm going to set Flight Sim to use its own real-time and real weather. That may upset the airplanes a little bit. It did. Okay. So it's deleting several airplanes that were en route, which is fine. But it looks like a lot of these are still here. So I want to see anything from Detroit. So this guy got removed. A couple of these got removed. But I want to see that this is still drawing active airplanes. That American Airlines flight now, or Delta Airlines flight now has landed. Per Flight Radar 24. Again, I'm not expecting a 1-to-1, but I would expect to at least see some sort of lighting in the distance, some sort of airplane in the distance, and we right now have nada. Got your blank liveries there. Over on the GA ramps, we've got the generics. There's your generic inside of the Spirit Airlines hangar, pushing out. Tail's probably going to clip through. That's okay. So, on departure right now, Spirit Airlines 2285 in Flight Radar 24. And I see nothing on our field. I don't even hear planes running right now, which is unfortunate. And looking at our lack of activity with the injector, it would appear that it has once again failed. I'm going to close this window here. Simply going to close it. In fact, we'll do it from here. And I'm going to reopen it, and I bet you all of those are at 0. They are. Okay. I've got one more thing I'm going to trial, and then I'm going to call this a bug, and then I'm going to suggest that you do not max out any of your limits. Let's try this once more. So on my screen now, I've got the injector. We're going to close it. It takes a second to close. We're going to reopen the injector. I am going to make changes, so we will say yes. Max aircraft 200, max VFR 100, additional parked will bring that number down to 3, which is the default. Max radius to inject, the minimum is 50, a max of 200. We're going to split that right down the middle at 100. Blocked aircraft removal time, minimum's 30. We'll do 120. I do not have an API key. I do not want to disable blank libraries, and I do not want to disable generics. That should give it the best possible chance for injection. I'm not going to bother with that little toolbar slider. That's a new addition. Maybe that's what's causing my issues, is me closing and reopening it. We're just going to run with the injector console. So now, there we go again. Generating airplanes at the gate. Delightful, delicious, and lovely. Hopefully the jetways will either swing back or just stay where they're at. Not sure which each is going to do. And we're now generating flight aircraft. So I'm looking for anything from Detroit or to Detroit. Right here. SkyWest 3868. CRJ 900. I'm going to come over to our Flight Radar 24. I'm going to see if I can find it. So he is currently at 7,000 feet, 58 kilometers out. Ooh, no call sign airplane. What are you? What are you? Ooh, you're secretive. What are you? 2,500 feet. It's probably just like some little GA airplane, but we're going to pretend it's some cool military stuff. So looking for that SkyWest airplane en route. Is that an Asiana flight? Alaska. Delta Airlines 449, getting ready to take off. Delta Airlines 461, taxiing out. Either of these should be on the ramp right now. And they are not. There's no movement. And once again, it has been just about 2 minutes now, and we're not seeing injection. I closed that window for the tool. Let's see if this spins me back to 0. It does. So I'm going to go on a limb here and say that injecting max aircraft is not a feasible solution, even for less busy airports. I'm not sure why it's crashing. I don't even want to start to speculate, but it's definitely not working as it is now. For now, until either I figure out what mods of mine were causing this, or until other people report the same issue with either different or no mods, and this gets resolved, I'm going to recommend launching it the way that I did in the original release. This video's gone long enough, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you for watching, and I do appreciate all viewer comments. You know, this one just didn't work out, and that's okay. Not everything is destined to work out, so I'm gonna edit this string of me screaming into a microphone into something somewhat palatable for you guys.